video. So this video is going to be geared towards how to get started with Aardvark, go through some basic features, and show you some basic workflows when using this. So here's Aardvark. This is the Workspace dashboard. This is where you will see a list of all the websites that you're working on. In this case, you can see the Workspace plan too at the very top. And you just want to make sure you have enough space for adding a new site and adding more pages. So I still have plenty of space. So I'm going to go ahead and add a new site for this demo. So I found this fun little Yellowstone Park nonprofit site that I'm going to use as a demonstration. So I'm going to copy the URL and I'm going to go back to Aardvark. Yellowstone forever. And then I'm going to enter my URL, and then I'm going to click validate, and it says the URL is valid. It also detected Cloudflare here, and usually if Cloudflare is blocking, it'll give an error, but in this case it seems to be okay. If I run into issues with the scan, I might have to pick a different site. But if you are using Cloudflare on your website, we have a guide that walks you through how to make them compatible. But since I don't work on this site, I don't have access to their Cloudflare setup. I can't do much if I'm stuck here. Anyway, so Yellowstone, URL is valid. It might show different warnings or errors here, but we also have guides. And if you get stuck, we can also help you get the site added. Just click on this little help button at the bottom and send us a message, and we'll get that going for you. So for adding a site, we also have the site settings. For now, we'll just leave the site settings as the recommended ones. WCAG 2.1 AA. We want to display warnings and errors, run a weekly scan, and if I had my site behind like a login portal or if it's password protected, then I would have to come in here and set up the authentication settings, but in this case it's a public site, no logins required. So we're going to leave it as is. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and click save, and that should be the end of adding my site. Alright, so whenever you add a site to Aardvark, we start off with just one page. So for this, I want to go ahead and add more pages before I run my first scan, just to get a more thorough view of the state of accessibility on that site. So I'll go to the Pages tab, and at the top right corner we have the Add a Page button, and I have the option to do a sitemap or do it manually, and it looks like Yellowstone Forever has a pretty standard sitemap location, so sitemap_index.xml, and I'll probably go with that, but let me show you just a manual one. So I can enter the path in this first field, enter a page name just for organizational purposes. This is again the authentication or the login settings, and then if your page takes a while to load, you can give it a few more seconds before Aardvark goes through the page and runs the scan. Alright, so I'm going back. I'm going to go to the From Sitemap, and Aardvark detects most basic sitemap structures, so you can see here, like this is very standard sitemap path. So Aardvark detects that. If there's any issues finding the sitemap, then it'll prompt you and you can enter the path in case it's really unique. Alright, so here it says, let's make things easier. My workspace has almost 10,000 slots for more pages, and this website contains 928. Do you want to go ahead and add all the pages? And you can either click yes or cancel or don't show me this again. Usually for auditing, we want to pick some of the high-level pages or like the most touched on pages. Also, if you are using like a template, like all my product pages look the same or all my blog posts looks the same. Usually you only want to pick a few of those blog posts or a few of those product pages. Like you don't have to scan all 1,000 of them if that's the case for your website. So in this case, I don't want to add 928 pages. That's quite a lot. So I'm going to click don't show this again and cancel. And instead, I'm just going to go through the pages and pick a few that I think are relevant. In this case, maybe if there's like an about page. So I'm going to search for about. So who we are and about. And I'll just go through and click a few more of these just for the demo. So maybe this one, that sounds fun. Bear hibernation, 5 fun facts. The point is to basically just go through the sitemap, pick some pages that are important or are touched on a lot, and then add them to Aardvark. So once I have my pages selected and I'm done picking whatever I want, also note there's filters here, there's search bar, You can update the sitemap in case you add a new page or something. But anyway, add selected pages whenever you're done. And now I have a total of 4 pages. And from here, I could either scan them individually. I can skip over to their issues view, but I haven't run a scan, so I don't have anything so far. I can also edit them in case I don't like the name that was given to them or something. Or if I do find that there is authentication that I have to set up, or there is a scan delay I should probably set. Or I can also just delete them from Aardvark. So I have 4 pages. Next, I'm going to head back to my site dashboard and run an automated scan. So now that I have my 4 pages, I think I'll get a better view of the state of accessibility on this website. So I'm going to pause the video and come right back. Alright, so the scan is completed. I have the getting started section here at the top. This is a great way to figure out what you can do next or what you can work on. But it says first scan complete, found 5 errors and 3 warnings. So if I click this drop down button, I get an list of some of the issues that I can start working on, but we'll come back to that. Right, so just to show you that this is there. You also get the option to see issues on the website, which opens visual mode. So let's click on that really quick and show you. So this is visual mode. This is a great way to see where the issues are located in case like, oh, it's talking about an image. Where is the image? So this is a great way to see like, oh, this image has an issue, this image has an issue. Instead of just having an issue that says image, missing alt text. Like you know where the image is with visual mode. So really handy for that. Helps pinpoint the issues. Visual mode is also where the other part of the audit comes into play, right? So we ran an automated scan, found as many as like 30% of the possible issues on the website through automated scanning. And now comes the other part where the professional comes in and manually audits the website to find the rest of the issues. So visual mode is where you record the issues and complete that other manual part. So if I click record issue, and if I were like, oh, this button doesn't have correct text, right? Learn more about what? Learn more about bears? Learn more about research? So I can click that button, say maybe the button label. You can find one that feels right. The other option too is I can make a custom failure, right? I can say button label not clear. And I can fill out the rest of this, critical, and then I have to, so I inform relationships, let's see, label, and basically just go through and add the information for the custom issue. Providing descriptive labels. There we go. Alright, and then submit. So that's the other part of auditing a website, right? So we need to be able to run an automated scan on the page and then go ahead and do the rest of it, which is manual work. So going to submit my issue. Alright, and now when I go back to view issues mode, you can see my new manually created issue is here. Alright, next we also have the option to browse the site. So you know how we added pages through the sitemap and we added pages through, you know, manually adding the path? Well, you can also go to visual mode and add pages this way, which I think is a little more intuitive too. So for example, like if we go to the experience page, once we navigate to this page, it'll say, oh, this is not being tested by Aardvark. Do you want to add the page? And then you can click add page and be like, yep, add page. Next time we scan, make sure to include this page. Alright, so then going back to the home page, I wanted to show you the last tab, which is the issues. So this is a listing of all the issues either found manually or through automated scanning. And of course you can filter through these and find the one that you're looking for or the one that you want to work on next, etc., etc. Alright. The other thing about visual mode too is if I were to click on one of these, like issue number 9, which is the one I just created, it'll automatically go and highlight the one that you're working on. So if I go back, let's do the second one. Yeah, so it'll scroll you down and it gives you a screenshot of where that issue is located. In this case, it's kind of wonky, right? It's kind of off to the side. But buttons must have discernible text. And if you look at the issue context, you can get a better idea. But it says button, role, presentation, previous. Oh, I wonder if there's a previous button here. It's not clear. Let's close this. Interesting. There must be some kind of previous and next button. Oh, I see, yeah. Oh, interesting. That's not a very good design, but the button is there. Aardvark was not wrong. It just took a little more investigating. So, went to the browse site, and I did find the button. But whenever you go through the issues list, you can figure out where the issue is. It'll auto scroll you, and you can see some screenshots, information on how to fix it. You can assign it to somebody, you can leave a comment, and so on and so forth. Or even mark it as fixed or not an issue. So that is visual mode. Alright, let's go back. The other thing I wanted to show you is the issues list, which is the same kind of view, right? You have the list of all the issues, but it happens to be outside of visual mode and actually gives you somewhat different information, right? So if I were to click on an issue from here, this view comes with the details on how to fix it. So zooming and scaling must not be disabled. If you click through this top portion, it gives you more information on what this issue means and how to fix it, what success criterion this fails. So in this case, 144 resize text, and then you can click on that, go to our documentation on even more information on how to fix it and what it means. And overall, it's just a really great resource for fixing these. So it's not part of the auditing per se, but it does come later when your team comes in to fix the issues. Because auditing is just finding the issues. This is really great whenever you're finally getting a developer in, getting somebody more technical in to try to fix the issues for you that you found. All right, so issues. Let's go back to the issues list. So you can see that there's a lot of information here, but probably starting with the critical and the very high, and then down here we have warnings. So in Aardvark, anything except for warnings are actual issues that need to be fixed and need to be addressed. Warnings are issues that you need to double check, right? It's not clear if they are issues. It definitely needs manual review. So that's what the warnings are. You need to go through and make sure that they are correct. They're basically just flags. Aardvark went through the scan, it flagged these issues. Now you need to go through and make sure, is this an issue? Is this not an issue? And you can click here, not an issue, to mark the ones that were just false alarms. So critical, very high, and then we have warnings, which need to be double checked. Alright, so next thing, you'll see that the issues also have the small text detected in scan. So the automated scan issues are separate from the ones reported manually. So this one says reported by Natalie, and it'll tell you what day it was reported on. And then lastly, you can see an overview of the comments. You can easily assign it to somebody from here. So if you have developers working with you next, then you can start dividing up the issues between them. And then you can also see the instances. So issues are that they're overarching issues that are on the site, right? So like color contrast, there's an overarching issue with color contrast on the website or on a page. And there's instances. So very specific parts on the page where that issue is happening. So whenever you click into an issue, this is a parent, this is the overarching issue. And then scrolling down, we have the instances. So these are all the times that the color contrast failed through the scanning, of course. So this one, orange text on green background, tells you insufficient color contrast, expected ratio 4.5. So it's just barely on the cusp right there. This one has much lower color contrast, white text on light blue background. So basically just go through those and check out where those are located. And if you need to take a closer look, you can always use this drop down and it tells you what pages it's on. So Yellowstone forever. Let's take a look. We can go to visual mode, or we can also open it in a new tab. But let's open it in visual mode, and it should pull up that issue for us automatically to get a closer look. All right, so yeah, down here in the footer. All right, so now from here, I can go back to my site, fix this color contrast issue. So that's finding issues, pinpointing them, recording them, interpreting the results, and now comes the remediation part, the fixing part, right? The actually getting the accessibility up on the website. So to do that, it really is just clicking and mark as fixed. In the case of the automated issues, whenever you mark something as fixed, Aardvark will go back and double check the results. So it'll check the footer again and be like, is this actually enough contrast? Let me double check. And then it'll confirm that and then completely mark it as fixed. So we do have these tabs here on the issue instances list. It'll tell you which ones are pending review, aka, waiting for the next scan to confirm. The ones marked as not an issue, the ones that you double checked, for instance, like, actually, I want to leave this, or I think, this has enough contrast, because sometimes it does make mistakes, right? This is black text on white. It needs manual review, right? So I can mark this as not an issue. And then over here, it'll have it listed in case maybe you do want to mark it as active. And then fix, of course, after the scan confirms, it'll be placed here. So mainly the remediation part, the fixing part, takes place on this active column, and you just have to go through and fix the issues that are found, or say, no, these are not issues, and then the next scan, Aardvark will confirm. And then for issues that are manually found, in this case, the one by Natalie, so when these issues come about, same thing, same concept, right? But you can see right away that we don't have all the tabs similar to the automated issues. We have a place for comments, we have a place for checking the activity, but the concept of, not an issue, mark as pending is not the same. So here, whenever you're fixing these manual issues, you can mark it as not an issue if you're a developer working on it, or mark it as fixed. And these will go back to the accessibility tester to confirm. So whenever somebody manually reports an issue, it has to be manually confirmed by a person. So these work a little bit different, but still the same, right? You still want to mark these as resolved, etc. All right, I guess let's go through the teams really quick. So if you want to invite teams of developers and so on and so forth, head over to Manage Workspace and click on Teams. You first need to add a user, right? You need to invite the people that you want on your team, and they will receive an email to accept the invitation, and so on and so forth. You can change the rule. Right now I have administrators, which basically have access to the whole workspace, all the sites, all the billing information, and the ability to cancel the account. You have project managers. They can manage all the websites, add more websites, manage teams, add pages, add sites, just not any billing information. And then we have the accessibility tester. This is the person who is in charge of running manual audits for your websites. And they can add pages, they can add sites, they can especially add issues, and manually review and resolve the issues. Very important. Next, we have the developer who is in charge of fixing the issues. They can go through the issues, add pages, update the sites, run scans, but they don't have the ability to create issues, and they don't have the ability to review and resolve those issues. And then last, we have the client, who will probably mainly be involved with just checking on how many issues are there, what issues are there, run scans, look at the reports. And then the next step after you add your users, you want to go ahead and add them to Workspace teams. So here you can see I already have 2 teams created. I have my team of auditors and I have my team of developers. The teams are basically the connection. So whenever a user logs into your workspace, they're not going to see any sites unless you make that connection with them and the websites. So let's take the auditor team, for example, and let's say I want to connect my auditor, my accessibility tester. Let's say Nathan is an auditor, and I need to make that connection between him and the site. So that way, whenever he logs in, he gets to see the sites that he's connected to. So in this case, let's connect him to Yellowstone Forever and click Add Site, and that should be it. So now whenever Nathan logs in as my auditor, he's part of the auditing team, he will see only the sites that he is connected to or that he's assigned to, and this is a great way to manage if you're an agency, if you're somebody working on multiple projects at the same time. I don't want one of my clients to be able to see all the projects on the site. They just need to see their own site. So that's the second step. So let's go back to Yellowstone Forever. We will have an accessibility tester coming to the site, running a scan, running a manual audit, and once they find all the issues on the website, on the pages, then we will have a developer come in, review the issues, fix all the issues, and then the accessibility tester can come back, run another scan, and also review all the manual issues that got fixed. And finally, the goal is to get all the issues fixed. And you can check on the progress over time. We have the site statistics, we have recent activity, and then you can also download PDFs and Excel spreadsheets. So that's where the client can come in, or maybe a stakeholder can come in and check on the progress, see what we have, the state of the website so far. But yeah, that's Aardvark. That's the intro. I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, feel free to head over to the Aardvark website and check our WCAG in plain English documentation, check out the Help Center documentation, or of course, if you guys need any specific help, you can always reach out to us. And you have this little handy help button here on the bottom. Another quick way to check out the Help Center is probably from here. This goes through all of our documentation. So in this case, if I have a question on Cloudflare, I can come over to the Help Center from that top search bar. So also notifications. I have a lot. Anyway, thank you guys for watching, and that should be it.